Closer, like this. How many of us here are on a Scrum team? So you can imagine this sprint review. The product owner says, well, that was an amazing sprint team. We were incredibly efficient and productive. Well done. The development team is pleased with the velocity and amount of Jira tasks closed. And then the stakeholder says, well, maybe we were efficient and maybe we were productive, but were we effective? Suddenly, the air shifts, doesn't it? We were all thinking we are celebrating the same success and are talking the same language, but were we indeed? And this small moment shows the big problem which can be faced and observed in our lives. Vocabulary. Why words matter? Because words are building blocks of our thoughts. And if those building blocks are shaky, the whole structure can crumble. Who is this talk for? If you're a Scrum Master, a product owner, a developer, a quality assurance specialist, anyone who is anyhow related to value delivery, this is for you. This is for all of us. Either you're an experienced professional or just making your first steps in this industry and in this journey, this is a good and timely refresher on the basics. Today I was talking already about the basics. It's important to look at the core. And as the previous speaker has mentioned, here is one more challenge: translation. I am Ukrainian and I speak Ukrainian, and sometimes I observe and hear that people use one word, effectively, and they mean either effective or efficient or both. I live in Poland and I speak Polish too, and from time to time I observe that people vocalize efektywność, but they mean productivity, efficiency, effectiveness, 2 out of those 3. Probably this is one of the most often words we've heard during these 2 days, effectiveness. This is my interpretation and my investigation, which I've done looking through some dictionaries. Think about effectiveness as of hitting a target. And the questions we should ask ourselves: do we know what our target is? Are we solving the right problem? Because effectiveness is achieving desired or intended result. Effectiveness is about doing the right thing. Our software development team was tasked to increase user engagement on a mobile app. They've spent months on building a fancy and complex feature, but the users do not want it. So, where are they effective? They were spending a lot of efforts, and they were effective on producing some waste. Efficiency. This word was mentioned a couple of times during the event, still not so often. So, what is it about? It is about minimizing waste, decreasing time, and about the optimization. So when our team has validated the hypothesis, what they need to deliver to address customer needs, the next question for them to think about, how to do it in the most efficient way. How to make this feature and this functionality available early or fast depends on what goals we are facing and what we want to achieve. So efficiency is rather about doing right things right. I hope this one will be new for you. Though, yesterday there was a talk when the example of this word was somehow touched and discussed. Efficacy. Efficacy is the ability to achieve the desired or intended result, very similar to effectiveness, with one important distinction: under controlled environment. Efficacy is often used in science and in medicine. It is about the ability. Does this medicine has a potential, a capability to cure a particular disease in a controlled lab environment? We can think of efficacy as a recipe for baking an ideal and very delicious cake. We have the recipe, everything is prescribed there, but if we do not have the ingredients as are stated in the recipe, if our oven is not baking the same way as intended, our result and our cake might not turn out so well. So coming to our context, where we can observe efficacy. When we are making a workshop, we create some environment in order to practice something, in order to learn something, and still this environment is controlled. We have a facilitator there, we have a mediator there, we have a person who is on looking us in order to give some guidance. So when we are designing some process which we want to bring into life, or when we test a tool we want to start using with our team, let's remember one important thing. Real life is not a lab. I could have finished with these 3 words. They are nice, start with E, but let's have a look at 2 more. Productivity. Productivity is the amount of work done per particular moment of time. At the first lecture, it was also presented as a throughput. Let's recollect our team and that sprint review. They were producing a lot of things. And often people want to be highly productive. Teams think of how to increase their productivity. Companies set the goals to be highly productive, but to be productive at what? So let's combine it with effectiveness first and efficiency second, and then start thinking about increasing the productivity. Because we might be producing just a lot of noise if those 2 are not guiding us. Once, in my Scrum team, I heard something like that. Well, you know, Olena, we do not see the value in joining our efforts around this piece of work because it's unproductive and ineffective, because we won't be 100% utilized. Utilization is the level how much we use our resources. Are our servers running at capacity? Are our developers fully utilized? Imagine a bus which has 50 seats. All 50 seats are occupied. The utilization is high. The same bus, 10 seats are occupied. The utilization is low. High utilization may sound good and fancy. At the same time, we are talking about people. High utilization and overutilization may lead to burnout, bottlenecks, decreased quality, lack of creativity. How is it related to effectiveness? It is, because to be effective, we need to solve problems. To solve problems, we need to be creative. To be creative, we need time and space to think. In Kanban method, they use this metaphor of a highway. Imagine a highway which is 100% utilized. What will happen then? Will you be able to move fast? Will you be able to move? Why all of these words are important? Because clarity is paramount. We are faced with tons of information daily. We are pressed to take multiple decisions. We work with diverse teams, and communication is key. Words are not just labels. They are lenses, how we perceive the reality. When we miscommunicate, we cloud our thinking. We misdiagnose problems. We optimize for the wrong metrics, and we chase the wrong goals. Is it a novel or a revolutionary idea? No. That's just a good and timely reminder to be intentional in what and how we communicate. There is one takeaway I would like you to do after this talk. Define your terms. When the next time you are in a meeting, in your team, on a chat, and you say effective or efficient, do not just assume that everyone understands what you mean by that. Ask, clarify, and explain. And when you hear someone saying, oh, that was effective, or we were the effectiveness was high, pause and reflect. And you can gently say, well, you said effective. What do you mean by that? Try this experiment. You might be surprised, as I was surprised one day. In the same Scrum team, when preparing for this talk, after the retrospective, I said something like, team, the meeting was effective and efficient. And by the way, do you know the difference between those two words? And one person said, effective? You mean like there should be some effects, fireworks? Well, that's also one of the meanings behind the word effective. So let us choose our words wisely. Thank you.